This evening, President Ali announced $1 million each to 600 house allottees in Region 9. Steel Buildings Guyana Incorporated launches prefabricated homes. Traffic Chief: it is illegal to tint the windshields of vehicles despite being in possession of a tint permit. In the region, California votes to ban the sales of petrol-powered cars by 2035, and internationally, Pakistan floods have affected more than 30 million people. Welcome to another broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. The laws indicate that there is no ban on tint, but rather a ban on a certain percentage of tints. This was highlighted by Traffic Chief Superintendent Dennis Stevens on Wednesday during a Guyana Police Force program.
Our laws indicate that the driver, also the occupant, must be visible. The police was able to identify the occupants, including the driver of the vehicle, and therefore the tint must not be so dark on the vehicle that it renders the police officer his observation as to the identifying the occupants also driving the vehicle. The law also indicates that for tint is that 65% visible of light penetration on the glass, and that would render it transparent so persons could be able to identify the drivers and occupants in the vehicle.
Superintendent Stephen explained that officers have had an issue with the percentage of tints placed on the vehicles and also the tinting of the front windscreen.
We also observe persons are tinting their front windscreen, and that is very dangerous, especially at night, and especially when it is raining. It may have some issues with the person's sight. For persons who are placed tint on the vehicle without the relevant authority permission, we are having exercises and we're able to address those situations.
The traffic chief went on to say that there are a lot of misinterpretations about the tint permits in relation to what it contains. He further noted that it is illegal to tint the windshields of a vehicle despite being in possession of tint permits.
The document that was given to persons who are having the tint exemption, it will indicate by the minister that persons, the law specifies 65%, but they are given a waiver. Therefore, they could be able to put on the tint that is able to work for them. So it will probably be dark. The persons are free to put on the tint except the front windscreen.
Superintendent Stephen also highlighted the use of white lights and colored lights by errant drivers, as it is a hazard to other road users.
Currently, we are having a white light exercise that runs throughout the various divisions that are able to arrest those situations, address those white light situations. What you find with a lot of persons who vehicle would have issued with a certificate of fitness, at the back of that certificate of fitness indicate that the owner of that certificate of fitness is acknowledged that there's a declaration that the owner of that vehicle cannot alter or attach after that certificate of fitness was issued to them. So you may find that the person may probably go and do some alter. It's an offense, and of course at night, that those white lights can affect other road users, and it's amongst the careless driving. Reasonable fail to have reasonable consideration to other road users with those white lights. So we are looking at those offenses. We are having a continuous night exercise to address those situations. But the law is clear. The law is clear as relates to lights. You said two white lights to the front, visible from a reasonable distance, and it's not safe for persons to alter the light, especially at night and when it is raining. There's no reflection, and your view to the front can be affected and can cause accidents.
For those road users who refuse to abide by the warnings of the police force, the traffic chief said the police have recently launched a campaign to deal with those drivers. Visitors to Guyana are now allowed to drive a motor vehicle for 60 days without a Guyanese driver's license once the driver has in their possession a valid driver's license from their country of residence and the necessary documents to show the date of entry into Guyana. President Dr. Irfan Ali is in Letem and Deep South Rupununi for a 3-day outreach. He has stated that 600 people who have obtained lands in Region 9 will each receive $1 million to begin building their homes. Esther Sobers explains.
President Dr. Irfan Ali earlier today announced that 600 persons who have received land from the Ministry of Housing in Lethem Region 9 will be given $1 million each to commence construction of their homes. The president was addressing a large gathering at the Tabatinga Sports Ground in Lethem. The new measure is geared at making home ownership easier for hinterland residents. The Housing Ministry will also be partnering with the New Building Society and the Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry, as they will be offering loans to the tune of $2 million at a rate of 3.5% to persons interested in that initiative. The monthly repayment for the loan is approximately $14,000. Registration has already commenced. The president is leading a 3-day outreach in Lethem and Deep South Rupununi. He's accompanied by Minister Susan Rodriguez, Nigel Darmlal, and Pauline Sukai. Several permanent secretaries and other technical officers from key government agencies are also in the region. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. U.S. Army General Laura Richardson, commander of U.S. Southern Command, will visit Guyana on August 29 to 30th first to meet with government and defense leaders for talks on the bilateral security partnership between the United States and Guyana. Richardson is visiting Guyana 10 months after assuming duties as Southcom's commander and nearly 5 months after meeting with Caribbean defense and public security leaders during the 2022 Caribbean Nation Security Conference in April in Bridgetown, Barbados. During her 2-day stay in Georgetown, she will meet with U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Lynch, President Irfan Ali, and Guyana Defense Forces Chief of Staff Brigadier Godfrey Best. Richardson will also join Guyana's First Lady Aria Ali and Ambassador Lynch in welcoming participants of the Caribbean Women, Peace and Security Conference, which Guyana will host from August 29th to September 1st in partnership with the Florida National Guard. The United States and Guyana have a long-standing history of security cooperation. The defense partnership between the two countries includes collaboration against regional threats and challenges, capacity building exercises, bilateral training, exercise exchanges, events fostering the inclusion of women in defense and security missions, and professional development engagements. Southcom is one of the Department of Defense's 6 geographically focused unified commands with responsibility for security cooperation with defense and public security forces in the Caribbean, Central America, and South America. Stick around after the break. Steel Buildings Guyana Incorporated launches prefabricated homes and women along Quarantine River encouraged to take full advantage of training programs offered by BIT.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Clearance has a crazy sale on Friday, August 26th, where women get up to half off. Jeans, ladies' dresses, tops, working shoes as low as $3,500, and men get from 15 to 50% off. Men's shirts, Dockers trousers, polos, sneakers, shorts, men's dress shoes, and suits. And don't forget, 10% off backpacks. So remember, the sale is Friday, August 26th. Clearance, always keeping you in style. Who could stop Clearance?
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Labour Minister Joseph Hamilton has encouraged women of Siparuta along the Corentyne River, Region 6, to take full advantage of the training programs offered by the Board of Industrial Training. He said women play an integral role in the development of their communities and can be the best at anything. On Monday, the minister launched vocational and technical programs in the areas of joinery, electrical installation, and handicraft for residents of Siparuta. Maintaining that the courses are not gender specific, the minister said women should make use of the opportunities available to them. Minister Hamilton reiterated that the training programs would not just help families, but also the community as a whole. He said everyone should have the requisite skills to maintain and repair the various types of systems and machinery, noting that trained persons should also be able to train other persons. Steel Buildings Guyana Incorporated has introduced pre-fabricated dwellings. The two-bedroom apartments will be delivered in 6 weeks for less than $10 million each. Mr. Sobers has more details.
Prospective homeowners now have more affordable housing alternative with the introduction of prefab homes by Steel Buildings Guyana Incorporated. The new company, which falls under the Hazen Jams Company umbrella, launched the housing initiative, was launched at HJ headquarters in Queenstown, Georgetown on Thursday, August 25th. The two-bedroom flats homes, which will be built within 6 weeks for $8.5 million each, will have one bath, a kitchen, and a dining area. The houses will be built using concrete foundation, steel framing, vinyl sidings, dry walls, and laterite floorings. Additionally, all electrical and plumbing works are included. During the launching, Minister of Central Housing and Planning Authority, Colin Cole, commended the company for capitalizing on the housing demand across the country. He said this sparked new life into the sector. Minister Kroll also spoke about the need for partnership as the country seeks innovative ways to further develop the construction sector through technology and sustainable approaches to home building. Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water Susan Rodriguez spoke of the government's commitment of delivering house lots to Guyanese and providing families with option of obtaining complete housing units that fall within their income brackets. She said the launch of the new prefab home is in keeping with that initiative. A model of 1 to 2 bedroom houses are being built at the HJ office in Queenstown. Persons can visit the office to get a first-hand look at the structure or contact the office at 688-1379. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Silvers.
Thanks, Esther. The Civil Defense Commission, under the guidance of the National Flood Monitoring Task Force, has responded to reports of inundation at Kaikan and other neighboring villages along the Cuyuni River in Region 7. At least 100 persons residing along the Cuyuni River have been affected by the rising waters. Apart from Kaikan, communities such as Karbu, Rock Landing, Wenamu, and Eterimbang were also affected. Flood relief supplies have been distributed to several areas via the regional authorities and the Guyana Defense Force, and more supplies are scheduled to be delivered there shortly. The CDC has an assessment team in the region working with the regional representatives to assess the development situation. Residents countrywide are encouraged to report all flood impacts to local authorities or the National Emergency Monitoring System at 600-7500 or 226-1114. Don't go away after the break. At least 25 died in Russian attack on Ukraine station, and Pakistan floods have affected more than 30 million people.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold, and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Clearance has a crazy sale on Friday, August 26th, where women get up to half off. Jeans, ladies' dresses, tops, working shoes as low as $3,500, and men get from 15 to 50% off. Men's shirts, Dockers trousers, polos, sneakers, shorts, men's dress shoes, and suits. And don't forget, 10% off backpacks. So remember, the sale is Friday, August 26th. Clearance, always keeping you in style. Who could stop clearance?
Welcome back. Now we'll look at what's happening in the region and around the world. The U.S. state of California has approved a ban on sales of new petrol-powered cars by the mid of the next decade. It could spark similar measures in other states, speeding up the transition to alternative fuel. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds reports.
In what may be a huge boost to the electric car industry, California, the largest state in the U.S., will ban sales of traditional internal combustion engine vehicles from 2035.
We will be the first jurisdiction in the world to require all new cars to be sold to be alternative fuel cars. And here's why it's significant. Besides being a game changer in terms of our climate and our energy leadership, it's a game changer in another respect, that the car manufacturers themselves are celebrating and embracing it, including Toyota today, not just Ford and GM.
California is often a leader in the U.S., and more than a dozen states usually follow its auto emissions standards. That may help create uniformity within the complex electric car market. Automakers will have to gradually phase in alternative fuel vehicles in their new fleets, beginning with 35% of all new cars in 2026. But it won't necessarily be easy. Electric cars are expensive, and the network of charging stations will need to be vastly expanded.
I think the three largest challenges for adoption are, first of all, affordability, availability, as well as infrastructure. From the affordability standpoint, EVs are typically more expensive, and we definitely don't want to put low-income buyers out of the market.
Electric vehicles will be required to get 240 kilometers on a single charge. Some Californians, concerned about global warming, are right behind the decision.
I agree. If anything's going to reduce things like fires and natural disasters, I think, why not?
The new rule was made by the state's Air Resources Board and is expected to get the required federal approval. A spokesman for a group representing the U.S. auto industry says it would be, quote, extremely challenging for the industry to adapt in order to meet these deadlines. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.
Internationally, Russia has confirmed that its forces attacked a railway station in eastern Ukraine on Wednesday. The number of people killed in the missile strikes has risen to 25, including 2 boys, 6 and 11. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports.
The aftermath of a Russian strike. Victims are trying to recover from the shock. Dozens of people were killed when missiles hit the city of Chaplin in eastern Ukraine. Sergei lost his 11-year-old son in one of the strikes in a residential area.
Yes, he was in the house. He was thrown out of there. We looked for him here in the ruins, and he was lying here. Nobody knew that he was here. Nobody knew. We thought maybe he was thrown onto the roof, but he was lying here.
Missiles also hit a passenger train, killing dozens of people, including children. The Russian Defense Ministry says the attack killed more than 200 Ukrainian service members and destroyed military equipment. People in their homes at the time say the attacks came as a surprise.
There was no sound. Nothing at all was heard. Just an explosion. Fire. Explosion, and then the fire started.
This is the second time Russia has hit a passenger train during the war. Last April, more than 50 people were killed in a railway station in Kramatorsk, also in the east. The attacks in Chaplin happened on Wednesday, while Ukraine celebrated 31 years of independence from Soviet rule. The Russian government says it's trying to prevent civilian casualties, but the reality on the ground is completely different, as schools, hospitals and universities have been shelled in the past months, and civilian deaths continue to mount. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Kyiv.
And finally, heavy rains and flash floods that have devastated large parts of Pakistan are showing no signs of letting up in Pakistan. Authorities say nearly 1,000 people have been killed and many more are missing. Al Jazeera's Zain Bashravi reports.
Rainfall over the south of the country has been so severe, survivors describe what is happening in Pakistan as the end of days. One government estimate says this monsoon season, there's been 500% more rain than the seasonal average. Suffering greatest in the southern Sindh province. The lucky ones who lived through the storm now wait, out in the open on small tracts of land, spared by the floods for now. Waiting for help or more rain, worries turn to disease, thirst, hunger.
What are we going to eat? We are completely lost. I'm very worried about our children. They have nothing to eat and nothing to wear.
We lost everything in the floods. There is water all around us, and we're empty-handed.
We don't have tents, no shelter, no food, and no one is here to help us.
At first sight, it looks like a seaside, waves crashing on a beach. But these are flooded fields and farms deep inland. Lost harvests, destroyed crops. A food crisis is now inevitable. Efforts to hold back the floodwaters seem no match for the extreme weather. Countless communities submerged, some completely washed away. Rescue efforts are underway, but there is just too much need.
Pakistan is living through one of the most serious climate catastrophes of the world. We are at this point ground zero of the front line of extreme weather events.
Pakistani leaders are calling for help from the international community to deal with the floods. It's been one of the worst, if not the worst, monsoon season to hit Pakistan in recent memory. Here in the provincial capital of Sindh, Karachi, it is perhaps easier to count the number of roads that have not experienced some kind of rain and flood damage. Adding to the already miserable situation are swelling rivers in the north of the country. More water is expected to reach already flood-hit areas in the next few days. Zain Basravi, Al Jazeera, Karachi.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2's Headline News Update. Tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and have a great weekend.